What's going on YouTube? Your boy Omo Mustard is back again with another banger here on the channel. And it's time to talk about WrestleMania, more specifically my predictions on WrestleMania. Because WrestleMania actually starts tomorrow, day one, and obviously day two, the day after on Sunday. And I was actually supposed to drop this yesterday, but things got in the way and I had to take care of some stuff with the family and I just had to push it back. So let's get started with the night one card. And the first match I have down here will be Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. This has been a really solid build for Rey and Santos. We know this has been building over the last couple of months. Rey was out with an injury for a while, and Santos has been doing his thing on SmackDown with Legado del Fantasma, Humberto, and Angel Garza. They've been great. I like them as a team, as a trio. I think Elektra Lopez, she's been a nice addition to them, and it's really established them. But I do think they need a little bit more in their group, and I don't know if that's where the whole Dominic Mysterio comes in, because if you see where Santos and them come out, they'll get like some boos here and there when Santos is cutting promos, but there's not enough heat to that group yet. And I think pairing Dom with them is nice for now, but I don't know if they're pairing Dom to eventually break him away from the Judgment Day. And if they are going to do that, I actually like the idea of Dom leading his own little faction, because I think they all kind of mesh well so far from what we've seen. And the Judgment Day story has kind of run its course. I think we're nearing the end of that faction. My only thing with that is that I don't want to see Dom break away from Rhea. I think Dom and Rhea is a pairing on TV I would keep around as long as possible. Seriously, as long as possible. I don't want to see them break up. So I don't know how they would pull that off without breaking them up. That's what I'm a little concerned with. But this build has been solid. Rey Mysterio, when he was looking for a partner, I initially thought they were going to get Dragon Lee, but then I was thinking, Andrade, he's on Raw. He's been doing his thing with the Judgment Day. Maybe he'll swerve them and join Rey Mysterio's team, but he picked Dragon Lee, and I think that's the right choice. They've been trying to push Dragon Lee for a while, even though he kind of disappeared for a little bit, and I think his momentum kind of got put on like a halt. Not just because he disappeared from TV for a little bit, but he lost a couple matches. Like, he lost to Santos a couple of times, and I think that kind of halted his momentum for a little bit. Hell, even when he had that great match with Dom on Raw, he lost that match. I don't think Dragon Lee has really been winning a lot of these matches, but because he's so entertaining in the ring, he can still get over. But eventually, they got to start winning. They got to start winning. And I say that, but my initial prediction is going to be Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. One, because last year at WrestleMania, Rey beat Dom one-on-one. It's time for Dom to somewhat get his win back. I think the ending of this match will be Dom pinning Rey. I think Dom will pin Rey, and I think next year we'll probably get the ending of this little trilogy. It seems like this is like a chapter 2 of the Rey and Dom story. I do think they're going to have to revisit that at some point, because it just feels weird for them to just end it with this tag match, So, yeah. And my prediction is Dominic and Santos get the win, and Dominic pins Rey Mysterio. Next match I have here on the card, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Naomi versus Damage Control of Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. Now, this match, they've been kind of building it on TV, and I like what they've done with Bianca and Naomi. I like the fact that up until this point, and SmackDown is later tonight, so maybe something will change, but up until this point, we have not seen Bianca come out to save Bayley, because that would be ridiculous. I don't care if she has beef with Damage Control. She's even said it on TV. Bayley, you made this bed, now you gotta lay in it. Naomi, she can do whatever she wants, right? She wasn't here when Damage Control was attacking people left and right every other week. But in the case of Bianca specifically, I think it's been refreshing to watch her literally just taunt Bayley every single time she sees her. because Bayley did the same thing to her. She deserves it in Bianca's eyes, and she's right. She's straight up right. But I do like the fact that, hey, she'll get involved if it's Naomi, because it's Naomi. Naomi's her friend. Now, in the case of Jade Cargill, they literally just added her to the match this past week, and I think it's a great addition. It's a great addition. I didn't know who they were going to add at first. It sucks that Tiffany Stratton got left off the card. I thought maybe they were teasing a Tiffany Stratton and Naomi match a couple of weeks ago when Naomi got attacked. And then Tiffany Stratton came up and was like, "Oh, Naomi, that's a great color on you." I thought maybe they were going to tease a Naomi and Tiffany Stratton card, but unfortunately, she's going to be left off the card. It is what it is. You know, she has plenty of WrestleManias that she's going to potentially main event one day. The future is bright for her. But as far as this match goes, I think it's very obvious that Bianca, Jade, and Naomi will win. I don't think the tag titles are on the line from what I've tried to find out and look up. So it looks like it's just going to be a clean win for them. Asuka, though, unfortunately, she has not won a match at WrestleMania, which when I found out, I was shocked. She has not won a single match at WrestleMania. She lost to Charlotte. She lost to Rhea. I'm trying to remember. I don't even think she was on the WrestleMania card last year, was she? Either way, she lost that match. Asuka's never won a match at WrestleMania, and it looks like she's going to lose again. And maybe that'll play into a story they eventually tell for her inevitable win at WrestleMania, because you could use that. You could use that as a story. Maybe if she challenges for a championship, whether it's against Rhea, Becky, whoever, she can use that story of, you've never lost, or excuse me, you've never won a WrestleMania match. So how do you expect to win? And that'll be interesting to see how they go with that. But yeah, I got Bianca, Jade, and Naomi winning, and I think Jade will get the pin. Jade will, she'll get the pin. She'll showcase a lot, and it's a great way for her to showcase. Y'all know my opinions on Jade. I made that very clear in one of my recent videos. I think she could be the biggest star in wrestling one day. I truly believe it. So yeah, I got her getting the dub. The next match I have down is the 6-pack ladder match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. The champs, of course, Finn Balor and Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, DIY, Miz and R-Truth, Awesome Truth, Kofi and Xavier of the New Day, A-Town Down Under of Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, and Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate of New Catch Republic. This is gonna be a either really, really, really good match or just a car crash kind of good match. And what I mean by that is it could be really great in the fact that these are all great wrestlers. All these guys are capable of working in the ring, and it's a ladder match. It's going to be chaotic in a fun way, right? But when you have all these people in this match, right, and there's a good chance maybe Dominic gets involved because it's the Judgment Day. JD McDonough could get involved, right? You know, hell, maybe we'll see a Rhea cameo. You know what I'm saying? All these guys involved in this match. We're talking about 6 different teams. That's 12 guys involved in one match. It's going to be a lot of spots. I expect a lot of car crash activities. And it's very interesting, right? Because Damian Priest with that Money in the Bank briefcase, depending on if they lose the tag titles, he could be cashing in. He could be cashing in, and hey, maybe I'll predict the Damian Priest cash in. Well, stay tuned for that. But he could be cashing in. So depending on who wins this match or loses this match, I do think that could dictate if Damian Priest cashes in. Like, for example, if they win, I don't see Damian Priest cashing in. I don't, not at all. Because I don't think they're going to have those tag titles on Damian Priest when he cashes in for the World Heavyweight Championship, because come on now, he's not cashing in on Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns. So yeah, but my prediction for this match, I have Awesome Truth winning. I just feel like it's too obvious. They've been doing this whole thing with the Judgment Day and R-Truth. The only way for this story to end is for R-Truth to be the one to take those tag titles off of them. And I think the last spot of the match should be between R-Truth and Damian Priest. Of course, will it make Damian Priest look like a goofball that R-Truth beats him? Sure, it will. But there are ways you can work around that. Hell, The Rock took a pinfall loss to the Hurricane before, okay? It's really not that big of a deal. It's a ladder match. There's ways around all these scenarios. Damian Priest could get caught up in the ladder. He could get handcuffed to the ladder. There are so many different ways you can work around that to still protect Damian Priest. And the company, they've had a motto for years, right? We can do anything we want to our Money in the Bank holder because they're going to cash in one day and become the world champ anyways. That's what they've done for years. And this is a ladder match. There are ways around that. So I got The Miz and R-Truth winning the six-pack ladder match. Next, we have brother versus brother, Jay versus Jimmy. Now, I have said before that I wasn't interested in seeing a Jay versus Jimmy breakup because I just felt like they were better together. Breaking them up kind of puts a ceiling on both of them. I didn't see how they were really going to go with the main event Jey Uso thing, especially if Jimmy's there. I mean, we saw Jay do his thing as a singles guy with the Roman, right? So I had a little bit more faith in him, but Jimmy, I just didn't see the path for him. And to a degree, I still don't, because Jimmy has been losing a lot. Seriously, a lot of times Jimmy has been losing matches. So that's that. But I will say the feud and the things they've done to build up to it, I do like it. I do like it. I'll never forget when this was after Jimmy attacked Jay and cost them the tag titles on Raw. I'll never forget when Jay showed up on SmackDown and he attacked Jimmy because I think they were about to attack like LA Knight or John Cena, one of them. And the crowd went crazy once Jay revealed himself under his mask. Like, Jay has really become one of the biggest stars in that company. I think the Yeet shirt is top 5 in merchandise sales. They are killing it right now with Jey Uso as a top guy. And, I thought that once they have this match, they would just, go back to being a tag team again. But right now, don't do it. Don't do it. Do not put them back together right now. Eventually, they will come back together, right? And that pop will be crazy when they hug or whatever it'll be. But I still do think you got to keep them apart because Jay, I think if they, have their cards right, they play their cards right, Jay can become a world champion. I'm so serious. He can. I don't think he'll be a long reigning champion, but he can become a world champion. Or at least a singles champion, right? I could see him being an intercontinental or a US champion. So yeah, I would keep them apart. Now, as far as who I predict to win the match, shockingly, I'm going with Jimmy. Going with the older brother. And I think the reason is, one, shock value. This company loves that. But also, Jimmy needs this win more than Jay. I mean, don't get me wrong. Jay has lost a couple of matches, right? He lost the World Heavyweight Championship match to Seth Rollins. He lost the Intercontinental Championship match to Gunther. I get that. And he lost the championship match against Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. I get that. But Jimmy, what has he won? What has he won? He doesn't have a single signature win as a single star. I get it. He's had these great little funny segments here and there, trying to jap up Solo and Cholo doesn't respond with the handshake. But at some point, Jimmy's got to win something. He's got to win something. He does not look like a credible single star, honestly. So I would give the win to Jimmy. I think Jay will be fine losing, especially if it's not clean. And that's why I'm shocked that so far, it looks like this match is a clean match. It looks like there's no stipulations. They just want to have a regular singles match, and that's fine. But you can always find ways for Jimmy to cheat and win, or Solo getting involved, right? Typical bloodline thing. But regardless, I would have Jimmy win, and I think Jimmy is going to win. The next match on the card is a match I'm shocked it's still the way it is, considering the reaction online and some of the stuff they've teased on TV, which is Gunther versus Sami Zayn. Now, I'm just going to come out and say Gunther's winning. Gunther's winning. Don't get me wrong. I like some of the stuff they've done on TV. I like what they did this past week, with Chad Gable kind of training Sami Zayn, and then Gunther comes out with Chad Gable, beating up on the floor. Then he gives Sami the chops of a lifetime. That was cool. The build has been solid, right? I like the promo Sami cut on Gunther right after Chad Gable told Sami, you can't beat Gunther. And Gunther's like, you know you can't beat me. You've never beaten me. So I like some of the stuff they've done with them on TV. But the problem is, one, Gunther has beaten Sami Zayn before. So that kind of puts things into perspective. Two, I think the company knows and the fans know there's a way better story out there, which is Chad Gable. Chad Gable is the one that should beat Gunther. And I feel like at some point, Chad Gable is going to get that Intercontinental Championship, but it's going to be so cheapened if Chad Gable gets that title from a Sami Zayn or somebody else. It has to be Gunther. That is the story. And I actually think Sami Zayn and Gunther, that could potentially be one of the WrestleMania main events next year. Seriously, because Gunther, I think, will become the world heavyweight champion at some point. And Sami Zayn should be the guy to beat him for that title. I don't think he should be the guy to beat him for the Intercontinental title. Seriously, I don't. And besides, I think it makes more sense when I think about that because I think Chad Gable being the one to beat Gunther is the reason why they didn't put him in this match. I don't think they want Gunther to lose. Because when you really think about it, Gunther was supposed to face Brock Lesnar, right? So I'd assume, right, Gunther would win that match. So whoever they put in his place is just the replacement. That's all it is. And Sami's a big star. He's had a great match with Gunther before, so they can rely on him to be in that spot. And they were not going to leave Sami Zayn off the card because without the Intercontinental Championship match, where does Sami Zayn go? They can afford to leave Chad Gable off the card, as sad as that sounds, but they can. They can't afford to leave a Sami Zayn off the card. I mean, sure, they could have a successful Mania without him, but he's still Sami Zayn. He's one of the biggest stars on the roster. You can't go from being in the main event of night one of WrestleMania last year to being completely off the card. That just doesn't make sense. But regardless, I got Gunther winning and continuing his forever reign as the Intercontinental Champion. The next match we have here is the Women's World Championship match between Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch. Now, I'm hyped for this match. Seriously, I am. Despite a lot of people not liking Becky, they think she's overpushed, they think she's overrated. I don't care. I don't care. I've been wanting this match for so long, and I'm glad we're finally getting the match. They've had some solid build to the match as well. It hasn't been perfect. I think some of the promos haven't been met with the reactions they probably hoped. And I think that's going to play a factor into this match. I got a lot of predictions for this match. One, I think the fans will turn on Becky in this match. Not outright completely, like she's just going to get showered in boos. But I think Rhea will be the babyface in this match, at least as far as the crowd reaction goes. And I wouldn't be shocked if that plays a role into the finish of the match, which is I think Rhea will win, but I think Becky's going to turn heel. I think they should and will do a double turn. Seriously, I think they should and will do a double turn. Now, I know Becky was a heel before, and the run, I think it was a good run, but obviously fans were just waiting for her to turn babyface again. But I think Becky will go back to being a heel, and I think it's time because after she beats Rhea, what's next for Becky as a babyface? Who does she face? And on top of that, let's also be honest here. Becky as a babyface is not getting the reactions that she used to get. Becky peaked at WrestleMania 36, right? Or 35. I think it was 35. She peaked at 35. She peaked at WrestleMania 35 in that moment when she won both of those championships. She used to get these monster reactions. And it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's sad, but it's kind of tough to see Becky come out there and get a reaction, but it's just nowhere near what it used to be. Nowhere near it. I think it's tough to watch sometimes, and I think her turning heel might help her get back to the ultimate babyface that she was before. Maybe she won't get the reactions like she did before, but it'll be much better than what it is now. Sometimes she'll come out and she'll get a mild reaction. That should not be happening with Becky Lynch. And besides, Rhea's already a babyface anyways. She comes out, she does her mommy is still on top shtick, And the crowds cheer. They boo Becky sometimes. Like, I remember when Becky said, your family's going to come to WrestleMania to watch you lose, the fans booed. On Raw, they booed her. Because no one wants to see Rhea Ripley lose that title. They love Rhea Ripley. And I think with the way the whole Judgment Day thing is going, they're probably going to break up. So she doesn't have to worry about being a heel for the sake of being in that group. So yeah, I got Rhea Ripley winning. But just like Shinsuke did to AJ at WrestleMania a couple years ago, I got Becky turning on Rhea Ripley. I got them doing a double turn at the end of this match, or at least they should be. Either way, regardless, Rhea Ripley is retaining that championship. Last but not least, the main event of night one at WrestleMania 40. The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins to determine the stipulation for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match on day 2 between Cody and Roman. If The Rock and Roman win, it's bloodline rules. If Cody and Seth win, it's a straight up clean wrestling match between Cody and Roman. Now, I like the fact that the build has been so big. And what I mean, this is literally the biggest tag match they have ever done in WrestleMania history. Honestly, it is the biggest tag match they've ever done. Just look at the names, the star power, what's on the line, and the build has been phenomenal. This build, I mean, whether it's The Rock attacking Cody and he's bloodied up outside, the visual of the rain pouring, that was great. Or what just happened this past week on Raw. That was great also. Now, I do think the build for this specific tag match has kind of taken away the focus of Cody versus Roman being the real main event. Because if you'd watch it on TV, you would think The Rock is going to the main event to face Cody Rhodes. But that's a different topic for another discussion. I think the winner is pretty obvious, honestly. And maybe it's too obvious to the point that it won't be these guys. But I got The Rock and Roman Reigns winning this match. Seriously. Because I'll get into it when I get to night 2 between Roman and Cody and my thoughts and predictions on that match. But I got them winning. And I think it'll play a role into the Seth Rollins match as well. Because him and Drew have been telling an obvious story that I believe is going to be a big reason why Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre have the finish that they have. I'm going to explain more of my reasons why this match is going to go the way it goes when I get into my review of both the Roman and Cody match and the Seth and Drew match. So I got The Rock and Roman Reigns winning. My explanation you'll hear in a bit. But let's go on to night 2 of WrestleMania 40. We got to open the show, or at least one of the matches that'll probably open the show, will be Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, Montez and Angelo Dawkins, versus the Final Testament of Karrion Kross, Akam, and Razar in a Philly street fight. Hopefully this is the ending of this boring ass feud. My God. It'll probably be a solid match. I can see it, right? It'll probably be a lot of chaos. It's a 6-man tag. But my goodness. This match, this feud, I could give no fucks about what happens in this feud. I mean, I predict Bobby and the Street Profits win because, let's be serious here, or actually, that's exactly why I'm actually going to flip my pick. I'm going to go with Karrion Kross, Akam, and Razar. Because Karrion Kross, man, I was about to say nobody gives a shit about him. They've been trying to push him. So I'm going to go with Bobby and the Street Profits. But that's exactly why I'm going to flip it. Because Karrion Kross needs a win desperately. This guy loses all his big matches. He lost to Drew McIntyre. He lost to AJ Styles. He lost to Rey Mysterio. I think he lost to Shinsuke Nakamura too. The guy always loses big matches. And if I'm being honest, the Karrion Kross push is just not working. It's not working. It worked when he first came back and attacked Drew McIntyre. That segment was amazing. That was a great segment. Ever since then, it's been downhill. He'll cut these nice little promos, but then he'll come out and have these lackluster matches. I hate to say it, but the Karrion Kross resurgence has not worked well. And then on top of that, he has that shit finish. What's the point of the pump handle if you're just going to do a fake knockoff F5? Just lift them up and do the move. Man, so I'm shitting all over Karrion Kross and I'm saying they're going to win. But regardless, like, they have to, right? Because who's going to give a shit about this faction once they lose this match? I mean, I don't think they're going to care regardless, but you have to try. You got to give them something. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, they're already established on the roster. They're going to be fine regardless. But the final testament, at least Karrion Kross, because Akam and Rezar, I think they'll be cool with Paul Ellering if they want to break them up. But Karrion Kross, he needs this. He needs this. He's lucky to even be on the fucking card, I'm be honest with you. But yeah, I got the final testament winning. The next match on the card I got is LA Knight versus AJ Styles. Now, if you guys watched my short, I believe 2 weeks ago or a week ago, I talked about the LA Knight push. And I thought they were kind of botching it a little bit because I thought he would have by now challenged Logan Paul for the US championship. I thought he'd be the one to beat Logan Paul and then be at WrestleMania. And that match could still happen. It could still very well happen at some point. He could be the guy to beat Logan Paul for the championship. But I just thought wrestling AJ was kind of a bit of a step down from where he should be. Because AJ, as great as he is, they'll probably have a great match, right? I just feel like AJ has doing a bunch of nothing. He's been doing a bunch of nothing over the past couple of years. And it almost feels like that's a come down. But I think the build for this match has been great. And it's really changed my opinion on it. It has. I like what they did with LA Knight going to AJ Styles' house. That was cool. I like the segment they did on SmackDown where LA Knight was disguised as like a security guard and he attacked AJ Styles. And then he got on the mic and the crowd was hot for LA Knight. Obviously, it wasn't white hot like it was last year in the middle of the year, but it was still great. It was still great. That crowd was going crazy for LA Knight. And then they also just filmed the segment at, I believe, one of the WrestleMania media days where AJ Styles and LA Knight got into a fight. And it actually looked like a real fight, right? Like they weren't throwing like punches or anything, but they were like grabbing each other. They were kind of hugging each other and holding each other. But if you've watched a lot of fights, people do that. It genuinely looked like something people be doing sometimes. Obviously, I would have liked for a punch or two to have been thrown, but then AJ Styles lifted him up and slammed him on the floor. It looked like a real slam, and AJ was bleeding. And, they were cussing up a storm. AJ said, "Fuck you, I'm beat the shit out of you." And LA Knight was like, I want to see you try it. So it looked cool. It looked nice. It looked real. And I think it added a little bit more realism to the feud. And I think SmackDown will probably get another LA Knight and AJ Styles segment. And I'm actually interested to see what they do for the go home show. But LA Knight is winning the match. AJ Styles, he's a made man. Of course, it sucks for him to lose again. But, at this point, he's better putting over guys that need it. AJ Styles doesn't need the rub. I do think he needs to win a couple more matches at some point for us to take him serious. But at the end of the day, it's AJ Styles. Okay? He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. One of the best of his generation. He should be at the stage where he's putting over most guys. But you just don't want to, you don't want the Chris Jericho effect. Remember that run Chris Jericho had, like the post run, I believe post 2012, where he was just putting over guys. Hell, he lost the Fandango at WrestleMania. When that shit happened, I was like, damn, like Jericho's just putting over everybody. You don't want AJ Styles to be like that, where he puts over so many people and then he gets into this weird, place where his losing doesn't even matter anymore. So, yeah, regardless, though, I got LA Knight winning this match, and they'll probably have a really good match. They'll give them, I assume, like 10, 15 minutes. It'll be good. Next match I have on the card, the U.S. Championship match. It is a triple threat between the champion, Logan Paul, versus Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. I'm shocked they haven't done anything with Randy and Kevin Owens on TV where one attacks the other. That'll obviously change in this match. Hell, maybe it'll change on SmackDown tonight. Who knows? But regardless, I think this is going to be a great match. Logan has shown that he can work and have good matches with guys like Rey Mysterio. He had a good match with Kevin Owens at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. He had a great match with Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia. You know, he had a great match with Seth Rollins. He's proven he can have great matches, and he's done it in such a limited, short period of time. So I'm expecting this to be a great match. And in the end, I have Logan Paul winning because I don't see the point of having Logan Paul lose to Randy Orton or Kevin Owens. Neither of them need that U.S. championship win. And I think Logan's doing a good thing with the championship. Hell, he shows up more than Roman Reigns does. Even when he's not there, he'll at least send a video of him cutting promos. Roman don't even do that shit. You know, so I got him retaining. I think they need to keep the title on him a little longer. And LA Knight, he's the guy. I keep saying it and I'll keep saying it. He's the guy that needs to beat Logan Paul for that U.S. championship. I would really enjoy a feud between those two. I think the promos would be amazing. Seriously. But let's move on to the next match. We got the WWE Women's Championship match between Io Shirai and Bayley. This is definitely one of the matches I was looking forward to from the moment Bayley won that Royal Rumble, because they've been building to this for a long, long time. I mean, we've seen the cracks in Damage Control really over like the last year. They've been teasing the breakup. Io Shirai, when she won the Women's Championship, even around that time, they were teasing a breakup. I thought Bayley was going to be the one to turn on Io, and we would get like an Io babyface run. But it looks like it's the other way around, where Damage Control completely turned on her. I do wonder if there's going to be interference in this match, and maybe we'll get a cameo from Jade, Cargill, or Naomi, Damage Control, whoever. But regardless, I do have Bayley picking up the win. I do. And the reason being, it's just right for the story. Io's had a really good run. She's had some really good matches in between, but I think the story of her championship run hasn't been too great outside of the Bayley feud. Like, I can't really remember one real build up to any of her matches. I think it's kind of lacking there. And I think it's because Io as a heel champion is probably not her role. I think she's best as a babyface, and eventually she will be a babyface, but for now she has to play the heel role with Damage Control. Regardless though, I got Bayley picking up the win, and another reason is Bayley needs that moment, man. The Rumble was such a great moment for her because she, out of the 4 horsewomen, she's kind of like always, bridesmaid, but never a bride. She always felt like the 4th wheel. You know, Sasha's had her moment at WrestleMania. She's been in the main event with Bianca. Hell, she's had a lot of moments in general. Charlotte, she's been in main event. It's the first ever women's main event, along with Becky, at WrestleMania. Even though they all didn't win those matches, right? Sasha lost, Charlotte lost. They all still were in them. And this isn't a WrestleMania main event, but it's a big time WrestleMania match. And I think Bayley needs the moment. And what better way to, kickstart this new babyface run, the first time she's been a babyface in like 4 years, than to win the Women's Championship. So I got Bayley winning and beating Io Shirai. The next match we have is the World Heavyweight Championship match between Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. They're coming off of one of the best Raw segments ever. Seriously, ever. Between Seth, CM Punk, and Drew McIntyre, which led to CM Punk now being named the special guest commentator for the match. I'm not going to lie, that was a little bit anticlimactic when they revealed that, because I wanted CM Punk to be the referee of the match. It looked like they were even leaning in towards it, right? Especially to see CM Punk drop to his knees, pause, and count with his left hand. Why even do that if you're not going to be a ref? I understand he explained it by saying, no, I can't be impartial. You're not going to be impartial on the fucking commentary booth either. Sure, you're not affecting the actual match, but you're not impartial there. And it's not like you like either of these guys. So you're equally not impartial to both of them. So regardless, though, I think this is going to be a great match. I think, honestly, with us seeing the amount of matches they've already had If Drew McIntyre doesn't win this match, man, he's due for a contract extension soon. I'd be thinking about leaving at that point. I'm not going to lie to you. I would. So I got Drew McIntyre winning. He's been upstaging Seth Rollins in a lot of these fucking promos anyway. And that's not to say Seth Rollins hasn't had some decent moments in promos and great matches along the way. He has. But his run, it's come to an end, okay? It's time to take that belt off of him. As a babyface, I've said it before, Seth Rollins really doesn't make it work as the guy. Especially this gimmick where he's coming out doing the cackling. He acts like a heel. He acts like a fucking heel. And I've said this before, Seth Rollins as a babyface just doesn't work that well. It doesn't, because he is a natural fucking heel. He is. He comes out, he dresses like fucking Becky Lynch every other week with fishnets and shit. And hey, if that's your style, do your style. But that's more accustomed to a heel than a babyface. He has that fucking laugh. Even when he talks, he sounds like a heel. And that's fine. He actually is a really good heel. If you look at his heel personas, the Monday Night Messiah, the first run with the Authority, he's had some great heel runs, right? Remember that run where, he had those trilogy of matches with Edge? It was great. It was great. So not only should he lose this title, but eventually turn this motherfucker heel. I actually think Seth's probably going to take a break, right? Because he's talked about his back. That was a real life injury that he is fighting through in every single match. So it's best that he probably takes a bit of a break. And hey, absence makes the heart grow fonder. He can come back, get a great reaction, then turn heel. Easily. Just go ahead and do it. And Drew needs that moment, man. He had his moment in an empty warehouse with no fans. Come on. Give him that moment at WrestleMania. Have him beat Seth Rollins. Now, as far as how the match will go down, this is one of the reasons why I predicted Roman and The Rock will beat Seth and Cody on night one in that main event, because I think Seth will probably go into this match not 100%, which feeds into the story that Drew McIntyre's been saying, you're a spotlight junkie. All you do is want to hog that moment for yourself. And because you're so focused on Roman, The Rock, Cody, I'm going to slide right in and beat your ass for that title. I think it's going to fit perfectly with that story. I could see Seth Rollins coming into this match, obviously not 100%. Maybe in storyline re-injures his knee. Drew McIntyre takes advantage and gets the 3 count. And I do wonder if CM Punk will have involvement. Probably not. It'll probably be limited, because at the end of the day, he is legitimately injured. He has a torn tricep. I doubt he'll get physical at all in this match. Maybe he'll throw a punch, who knows, but I doubt he'll be getting physical. So it's going to be interesting to see how they work him into that finish. But yeah, I got Drew McIntyre winning and finally getting his WrestleMania moment. So yeah, the next and final match on the card, the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match, the main event of WrestleMania 40. Roman Reigns, the champion of over 1,300 days, 1,300 days, versus the American Nightmare himself, Cody Rhodes. This match, I believe, will be Bloodline rules. And let me explain why now. I don't see how you can't have a clusterfuck of a match here. And what I mean clusterfuck in a good way. This match needs to be just so much chaos. At least it should be, right? We already got that standard wrestling match last year, even though, the finish was what it was. We got that standard wrestling match. We don't got to do that again. Have it be Bloodline rules. I think The Rock's going to come out. I think Seth Rollins may make an appearance, right? Solo Sikoa's going to come out. And I also think, because they've been teasing it a lot. If you guys remember when The Rock attacked Cody Rhodes, and I don't think this was, an accident, especially with the rumors that are out there, Stone Cold and John Cena's faces were on that tour bus. They were right there. And I think we're going to get the Stone Cold and John Cena cameo. And for those who don't know, John Cena was on Instagram earlier today, or I think it was yesterday, whichever it was, and he posted a photo that said, Will Stone Cold be at WrestleMania? And it was an edited photo of Stone Cold with some long hair. Dog, I'm not going to lie. At least Stone Cold being there would make my night. We got to see Stone Cold give The Rock a stunner for one final time. It'll probably be the last time, for real. And I wonder how The Rock's going to sell that stunner, if he can still bump his ass for it. So I think we'll get a Stone Cold appearance to foil The Rock, stop him from interfering in the match. We'll probably get a Jey Uso appearance to stop Jimmy. We'll probably get a John Cena appearance to stop Solo, right? Because his history was Solo Sikoa. And then it'll be one-on-one between Roman and Cody. And I also think another reason why we're probably going to get Bloodline rules is because I don't see how you don't repeat the exact spot of last year's finish in this match, with Solo hitting Cody with the spike, but this time Cody kicks out. Seriously, instead of, Solo hitting him with the spike, Roman spear, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, last second, Cody kicks out. It'll probably get the biggest reaction of the fucking night. I expect this match to be so much chaos, so much interference, and with all the people saying they hate the Bloodline interference, this is probably the one match you need, the Bloodline interference. And I think it's going to make the match even better. Almost like how when Seth and Finn Balor had that match, and it was overbooked to hell, right? You had Finn Balor and Seth having their match in one spot. Next minute, Dominic comes out. Next minute, Damian Priest comes out. Rhea Ripley comes out, right? There's so much interference everywhere, but it actually added to the drama of the match. I can see that happening here. This could be the best WrestleMania main event we've ever had, just because of all the overbooked shit happening at once. Seriously. The star power that's probably going to be in this match, we could potentially get Roman, The Rock, John Cena, Seth Rollins potentially, right? Stone Cold, Cody Rhodes. Paul Heyman's going to be there. It's going to be a lot of shit going down. This could actually be the greatest WrestleMania main event of all time if booked correctly. And of course, if they deliver in the ring, which they should, right? So I'm expecting something great. Seriously, I am. And who I predict to win? I'm going with Cody Rhodes. I think it's time. All right? It's time for Cody to finish his fucking story already. I'm getting sick of hearing that fucking phrase. I'm getting tired of hearing that phrase. Cody needs to finish his story, man. How can we take him serious if he loses again? I mean, you might as well just turn heel at that point. And if I'm not mistaken, Cody Rhodes even went on ESPN First Take and he said, if I lose, the fans should never take me serious again. I keep saying I'm going to finish the story. When? Right? And Cody's 1,000% right. He's 1,000% right. He just re-signed a new deal also. And I don't think even if he didn't re-sign, he was going to leave if he lost. But I think that re-sign shows a little something. Shows a little something. He didn't even wait till after WrestleMania. So I think he should win. Now, I will say, it's not 100% guarantee. It's not. Roman's been champion for over 1,300 days. Best believe, if they want to keep having him climb the record books and beat Hulk Hogan's, I believe it was like 1,600-day run or 1,500-day run, whatever it is, hey, go ahead and do it. But I think people need to realize that is not the record, okay? There's 2 more guys ahead of Hulk Hogan on that record. I believe Pedro Morales, Bruno Sammartino. They're ahead of Roman Reigns and Hulk Hogan. And in order for him to break Bruno's record, he'd have to hold it for a couple more years, okay? He's not holding it for a couple more years. He's already had a forever reign. It needs to end, okay? I love Roman. If he held the title, it's not the end of the world for me, but Cody needs it more. He needs it more. But I'm not going to pretend like Cody losing isn't a possibility. It's Roman Reigns. Him retaining is always a possibility. It always is. It always is. So, like I said, I got Cody winning. There's going to be a lot of shit going down. and he needs to finish the story. I just hope that when he wins, it's not strictly because of interference. Of course, there's going to be interference everywhere, right? Chaos everywhere. But it shouldn't affect Cody winning. You can have all this interference, but yet Cody still wins in a clean way. Or at least clean enough way, right? Because they could still use weapons. So, yeah, Cody Rhodes is going to finish his story. Or at least he should. Triple H, do the right thing, my brother. Do the right thing. But hey, those are my thoughts, my opinions. If you disagree, let me know down below in the comment section. I want to know what every single one of you guys think. So let me know. It's your boy Omo Mustard signing out. Y'all stay safe and have a blessed, miraculous day. Let's get ready, man. WrestleMania, it's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a doozy, man. Y'all stay safe. I'm out. Peace. Peace. Peace.